Birthday greetings we bring you. Birthday greetings today. May the Father and his heaven bless and keep you always. We used to sing that in the cabin kitchen on the hardwood floor. Floor destroyed by all the water we brought in from our swimsuits and dripped from our towels as we make way all the way upstairs to change clothes, put back on our summer clothes, and to take out our wet clothes. And when we were young, we just sort of left them. And we're surprised that they managed to make it out on the clothesline. It stops after a while being a surprise. Never got slivers off that floor. In the kitchen, there'd be the huge table with the benches. I used to love sitting on the benches beside my cousins. When you're younger, you have to be able to stand onto the bench and then walk behind people. But that was cool. At the time, you could do it. And we ate tons of Rice Krispie bars. Tons of them. And with age, co-ops came in, and Norm and Wava, they belonged to a co-op. And then when Leanne and Renee had kids, they would make homemade jerky. And going to the fireworks with homemade jerky is so much better than going to the fireworks alone and without your cousins and without homemade jerky. That's some little birthday song I sing to all my Facebook friends. Sometimes my voice cracks. Sometimes it's okay. But I'm 64. It's going to crack every now and then. Well, I've been sitting here. It's nice and warm in the sun. Most of the flies I've gotten out the door. So I'm going to call tomorrow and find out my taxes. Last year there was $75. Should have been attached to this check. This October bill, but it's not there. So I'm going to call and find out. And I'll just attach it to the bill. Well, Heike cousins, wherever you are, I'm your cousin Val. I was thrown away by you all, but I still love you. Do you listen to Diana? She didn't live with Mom. She had nothing to do with Mom unless Mom was handy into her schemes. I was 10 when Diana came with the dog. She didn't like my dog. She told Mother that first it was a dog of a missionary, and they were going to Mexico for years, and she needed a home for this dog. And Mother said, well, Val has a dog. And then Diana got nasty, as narcissists do, and she said, if you don't give away Val's dog, you will never see your grandchildren again. So by the time I got home from school, I no longer had a dog. We had a Patches. I don't know where she found Patches. He was a good dog, but he wasn't my dog. My dog when her son was just walking. Was a puppy. He was a puppy. Casey was a puppy. And he saw little Robbie and raced across the field and knocked him over. He was playing. 2014, that same woman murdered my mother's cat. Because she wanted Mom. She didn't want the cat. In October, she put her fist in Mom's face and said, "You don't have anything of value. You have no right to have doors unlocked." So we stopped locking them. On the 2nd of December of 2014, I had a priest come to the house because I couldn't think of how to protect Mom. I had stepped out of Luther College in September because Diana had threatened Mother and said that if I went back to school, she would drive to Quasqueton and force Mother into a nursing home. Mother was not going to a nursing home. She had no desire to go to a nursing home. She was 86 years old. Still did everything. Still drove alone across the state. Still cooked. Still made potato salad. She was not going to a nursing home. Diana told her she was going there or she was going to take against her will to Granbury, Texas. There was something all fire and important with Diana. Mother had to be out of her home and in her home by 2:14. Mother said no. She came to me in tears and begged for me to step out of Luther College, and I did. As I had always been there for Mom. Father Joe came to the house and he suggested, well, it's easy. You hire Amish and they'll do your cleaning. And then you put Val on the power of attorney. Mother had put Ellen on the power of attorney in 2000 when I went to Virginia to work in the Shenandoah National Park. Mother was afraid Dad would just leave her on the road of the cabin. He did that once. He had seen a bear going along that road. And then Mother and Dad had gone out with friends. And on the way back, Dad was drunk, and Mom says, you need to let me drive. So Dad pulled the truck over in the same spot he had seen a bear. And he yelled at Mother to get out. And it was night. And Mom was scared. Mom got out and Dad drove away. And then he came back laughing and intimidated her into getting back in the car with a truck. I have seen Mother sit in pain with those cramps she would get in the upper part of her legs. And Dad would be sitting right beside her, wanting to know the time. And Mother'd be sitting there in pain, and I'd be looking for her pills. And then Dad would say, well, if you're not going to tell me what time it is, I might as well go to bed. And Mother is sitting there crying. She's in pain. So Ellen was put on the power of attorney, and she didn't remember that she had done that. She didn't want anyone to have that power. And so Thanksgiving Day, I had been getting Mother ready, and I had been sitting there, and Mother had sat on the on her potty. She had fallen in October after Diana stuck her fist in Mom's face. She also stole Mom's notebook that Robbie had given her in 2013. 2012, Mom hadn't gone to Texas. Dad had died, so we had Dad's gathering, and her grandchildren couldn't be bothered to come up to see Mom or to even say goodbye to Dad before he died. Dad loved Robert. They were buddies. But in 202, when they had sold the house, and Diana had come up and they found a house 4 blocks away, and we had moved. And Dad wanted to build a house in the country. But he had borrowed $30,000 and they only got $75,000 from the Almakeek Hospital for the sale of the house. They sold the house because they thought that I was gone, so who was going to do the yard work? So they got $75,000 for a 135-year-old house. Wood floors, wood doors, French doors, French glass, built-in cabinets. They were ripped off. And Mom was having pneumonia. And Robbie had taken Mom to the hospital to get her shot. And that really pissed off Dad. And so Dad was drunk. And we were at Ellen's house, and Dad said, fuck, which was amazing to me because Sean loved that word. He used to say it all the time in front of his little boys. And yet it was a horrible thing that Dad should say it in front of his little boys. And Dad was thrown out of Sean's house. So he was determined to walk 3 miles back to town. I was the only one that went after Dad. I got up even with him with my little white Pontiac. And he cussed me out because I waited too long to come after him. So I let him eat my dirt as I went to the convent to talk to friends. Nuns are the best friends, I used to think. You could trust them with anything, I used to think. I really liked Father Joe. He apologized for Father Eddie Lichtenberg and what he did to me. I worked for 2 years, 1990 to 1992, St. Pat's Catholic Church and School. Never got any raise, never got any benefits. During the school year, I got 20 to 26 hours a week and 40 in the summer. I had asked the consul if I could get a second job because I had started a camcorder business. I was given the okay. Father found out he could hire 3 retarded people to do the same work I did. And pay them exactly the same amount that I got. So I had to take them to the labor board to get unemployment. It's amazing how many families don't know the hardship and the pain and the bitterness of that family that we all endure. Or that we miss those we miss. They're not very good Christians. I hope they go to church and hug their Bible. Because if that's all it is to them as a symbol, they're lost. Families need to stick together. Blood is not thicker than water, I guess. Always loved the Heikes. Had a cousin, Andy, my dad called him. He's in Spencer, Randy Lovett. Don't trust him as far as you can spit. He's a follower of the devil Diana. Licked up every lie that she told him. See that symbol there? That symbol began innocently without lies. I would still die for it, even though it's not pure. It was started with a great idea. Well, I gotta take my trash out because it didn't get out last week because a friend of mine called me all night long. Then I'm gonna go feed my kitties, do kitty boxes, and get my food. And then I have a book to find, but there's also a ball game coming. I'm not sure when they play. Have a safe, wonderful day and a fantastic week. And I give a hug to anyone who is a Bittinger or a Kleeman or a Crew or a Heike who listens to my thoughts. Goodbye.